Hi. All right, so today I want to talk about the emotion of shame again. Aren't these little babies so cute? Just take a look. Look at those faces. So I want to talk about the emotion of shame because a lot of people with chronic illness also have chronic pain. Whether you have, chronic fatigue or chronic fibromyalgia, or you've got gut issues, or you've got nervous system issues, or MS, or autoimmune, or cancer, or whatever you have, a lot of times there's pain associated with chronic illness if you've been sick for a long time. And, when we're looking for an emotional root cause, sure, we have the actual cause of whatever caused your pain in the first place, or whatever caused your illness in the first place, whatever actually did that. But then there's always usually an emotion. An emotion that goes along with pain and with suffering and with chronic illness, and that's shame. And it's no doubt why shame would be present. Okay, shame is a very painful emotion. It's painful emotionally. Okay, I'm not talking physically now anymore. It's a painful emotion. It's one of the most painful emotions that a human being can feel, because it's essentially an emotion which isolates you from family, friends, society, other people, and you feel like you're not accepted. You feel like you're not included. You feel like an outcast. You feel different, and you feel bad, right? And a lot of times shame comes with chronic illness, because the longer you are chronically ill, the more shame you just have. And you have shame, you can understand why you have shame when someone's looking at you, a family member, a friend, an acquaintance, somebody out in the world. People with shame feel seen. So eyes are upon you, other eyes, and you feel seen. You feel naked. You feel like people can see inside and see your deepest, darkest feelings, thoughts, emotions, what happened to you, what you might have done wrong, how you were wronged. You know, people feel naked and they feel seen. And that's sort of when somebody feels naked and they feel seen and judged and wronged and shamed by other people. It's because they're afraid of what's inside. They're afraid for people to actually see what they feel, what they think, what happened to them, because it's so awful and so dark a lot of times, and so just alienating that you just know instinctually that people could not understand. It's almost like you're disgusted with your own self for whatever's happened, and you feel all so badly inside about what's happened to you, but you also carry this shame because you sense that others can feel the same way about you, can see it, can look into your deepest, darkest, if a person was raped or molested or wronged or something, beaten, or in the Holocaust or whatever, right? They feel a sense of shame because they cannot share that experience with somebody that they're looking at, because that experience is too deep and dark and full of raw anger and all kinds of emotions that we shouldn't have, right? We should stuff down as good people. We shouldn't be feeling murderous rage, or depression so deep that you want to kill yourself, or whatever it is, sadness, whatever it is. And you feel when people are looking at you like they can see those emotions, and they can see what you feel like is a bad is bad in the eyes of society. And so shame is a really painful experience because it's alienating and it's constricting, and people tend to close up, they tend to freeze, they tend to withdraw. And all of these, if you're tensing up inside yourself, um, and freezing, if that's the response rather than fight or flight, you're in this freezing mode. You're essentially freezing your body positions, your muscles, your nerve fibers. So tension is totally bound up all around you, in your brain, in your muscles, in your fibers, in your tissues, in your bones, and everything. It's tightening. There's a real constriction and a real tightening. And this is real, and you're not even aware of it. It's subconscious because your body follows your emotions and your feelings. And when you are feeling isolated and you withdraw and you constrict and you tighten and you close, those same things are happening in your body, in your blood, in your arteries, in your muscles. You're tightening, constricting, holding, right? So these are the things that you need to counter when you're talking about shame. So you can release your shame by talking about your shame, by letting your shame out, by writing about it, by journaling about it, by talking to a therapist, by making a video and telling everybody about it. You can also release shame in your body by moving a different way, by opening up, by loosening, relaxing, stretching, unbinding, right? Because shame is not only held in your emotional core and in your spiritual self and in your mind and your brain, but it's first held in the body, because the body is the first place, right? When all these things are connected, the body is the first place that it goes. So it's no wonder that people who are chronically ill experience chronic pain and like a chronic sort of closing in and tightening and withdrawing and just it's a terrible emotion, shame. And it's, I think, one of the ones that is causing people to be as sick as they are in chronic illness. So I'm not saying that you're chronically ill because you have shame. I'm saying that shame is leading to a tension in your entire body, in your entire nervous system, in all your muscles, in all your fibers, right? It's this tension, this tightening that is coming from shame that is not letting you release it like a normal person would in a normal amount of time. So that's what's keeping it chronic. So your illness was real, the reason was real, the situation was real, your reaction was real, but the longevity and the chronicness of your disease, I believe, is coming from tension. And the tension is coming in the form of physical, you're not getting enough oxygen in your body, you're not getting enough blood flow. I mean, it's really, this tension is causing so much physical stress on your body. But the reason why you can't just release the tension through stress, through yoga and through walking, and why the tension is always there, is because of the emotions that are contributing to this feeling in the first place. And I believe that shame is the core emotion. So I believe that releasing your shame and getting rid of your shame and trying to figure out how to let go of shame will loosen the tightness and the constricting and all the tension in your actual body that's contributing to the chronic portion of your illness, which should be resolved in due time. It should be resolved. The body should be able to heal in weeks, in months, in a year, in 2 years, right? If this is continuing to go on, it's because you're stuck. Your mind is stuck, your body's stuck. You're stuck, you're frozen. You're not in fight or flight, you're in freeze motion. Your body is in a freezing pattern. And this is because you're carrying toxic emotions with you. One of the very, top toxic emotions is shame. And I think that if you have chronic illness, there's no doubt why you feel shame, because you feel less than. You feel less than compared to other people. You feel, you know, like a failure. You feel all these terrible, shameful feelings, and you feel like people can see through you, inside you, and see exactly what happened to you and exactly all your worst, you know, feelings and emotions and around this whole illness, which are ugly. I'm sure if you've been ill for a long time, your emotions around your illness are ugly, and you would feel shame every time, and it cuts you off from society. So, one of the counters to shame is to reemerge in society, whether you want to or not, is to open up your posture, to not freeze in, to not look away, to look down the way people do when they're in shame, but look up, keep your chin up, look people in the eye, smile. Imagine that they can't see through you. Imagine a nice, big, shiny, beautiful, amazing person that they can only see when they look at you. And smile no matter what you're feeling inside, and exude and re-engage in society, and talk about your feelings with a therapist. Stretch, let it out of your body. Do TRE exercises or somatic experiencing exercises. Shake your body, dance your body, laugh. Anything that will break this pattern of holding, stretching, working out your muscles, but mostly trying to release the shame, the thing that is keeping you stuck, and not allowing your illness and your body to heal itself, because it's causing so much tension inside. It's causing so much tension inside that it's no wonder, you're in pain and you're exhausted and you're tired and your muscles hurt and your nerves hurt and your head hurts and your body aches and you feel like on the verge of collapse and your stomach aches and you're tired and you can't go to the bathroom, and all of these things, right? They're very constricting and they're toxic symptoms that are manifesting because of toxic feelings that we feel inside. And I know for sure, what I've been through is shameful, and the feelings I have around it are even more shameful. And I wouldn't want anybody to know those. I don't want people to know those deepest, darkest parts, because we want to put our best face to society. We want people to like us. We want to be included. We want to be accepted. We want, our parents to think good of us, and our family to think good of us, and our kids to look up to us. And these are what we have strived for as human beings ever since we've been alive, because connection is important. And I know when you're chronically ill, you're very, very isolated, and that in itself is shameful. I'm not loved, the feeling that I'm not loved, and people won't understand me or they won't accept me. And it's like, feeling like a leper, feeling like an outcast, feeling like shunned. That's how you feel when people look at you, and that feeling manifests in your body as tightness and tension, and that tension blocks all your muscles and arteries and oxygen and everything, and it is keeping you stuck and it is keeping you sick. So I will come back to work through some shame exercises. But in the meantime, you have to release emotionally, spiritually, on a soul level, in your body, re-engage in life, exercise, stretch, do everything that you can to counter the shame that you feel anywhere, in any part of your body, physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, whatever. We want to counter shame. We want to meet shame head on and say, no, enough. I am good enough. I'm okay just the way I am. People will accept me and people will like me, and I am accepted. I'm good enough. I'm good enough just the way I am. And you got to stop worrying, what people think of you and how you're perceived, because it's keeping you stuck, and shame is keeping you alienated, and it's keeping your body tense, and it's keeping everything, from healing. So you've got to find ways to counter shame and to attack shame and to meet shame head on and to ultimately defeat shame.